The Lost Child. The whole chapter written by Mulk, Raj, Anand. He was born on 12 December 1905 and died on 28 September 2004. He was Indian writer in English. He is admired for his novels and short stories, which have acquired the status of classics of modern Indian English literature. Broadly, the lost child can be divided into three parts. Number one, going to fair. Number second, the fair. And number third, lost. Sorry, not in three parts, but in four parts. The whole chapter can be divided into four parts. And the last one is overwhelmed with grief. We will discuss the first part of this chapter, that is going to the fair. The spring season was going on. The people of the village came out of their houses to attend the fair. The little boy means the lost child, full of life, walk behind his parents. His parents beckon to him, asking him to keep up with them. Means the parents were asking the child that he has to stay with them. Child was distracted by the toy shop which was on the way to fair. He requested the parents to buy him a toy, but his father gave him a stern stare, means to look in anger, while his mother distract the boy by showing him beautiful mustard field ahead of them. It is clearly mentioned when the boy father was looking at him in anger, the mother distracted the boy by showing him a beautiful mustard field, means सरसों का खेत. Now we will be covering the second part of this chapter, that is the fair, when the child entered the fair. The fair. The boy stayed with his parents. The boy ran along a footpath and through a mustard field. The footpath leads on to a fair, and the child is wonderstruck by the chaos of the place. The boy entered the fair by running along a footpath and through the mustard field. When he entered the fair, what happened? The child was wonderstruck by the chaos of the place. यानी कि उस भीड़ को देखकर वो थोड़ा सा स्ट्रक हो चुका था वहाँ पे. It means that. he come across a sweetmeat seller selling gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, and jalebi. Now here we are talking about the first interaction with the shop when he entered the fair. He came across the sweet shop in which he saw that the seller was selling gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, and jalebi. The boy wanted to ask his parents for a barfi as it was his favorite. The boy wanted to ask his parents for a barfi because barfi was his favorite sweet. He walks on to see a hawker selling beautiful garlands of gul mohar. Now he came across a seller who was selling beautiful garland of gul mohar, यानी कि गुल मोहर की माला बेच रहा था. He wishes for the garland, but he knows that he will not get it. He moves ahead. Now what he sees? He sees a man selling rainbow colored balloons. Now what happened? After crossing the person who was selling the garlands of the gulmohar, he came across the person who was selling rainbow colored balloons, means different color balloons. Is it clear? Now let's move ahead. Knowing his parents would refuse, saying he was too old, He doesn't ask them for one and walks on. In his mind, he was keeping a desire to buy the different color balloons, but he was aware of the answer or a reply given by his parents, that his parents will refuse, saying he was too old. So he didn't even ask his parents for the balloon and he moved ahead. Now he sees snake charmer. Who are the snake charmers? And watches the snake dance to the tune of his flute. Now he sees snake charmer means a person who plays an instrument known as flute, and he also sees that the snake was dancing on the tune of his flute. Is that clear? Now let's move ahead. He approaches the snake charmer. He remembers how his parents forbade him from listening to such music. Forbid means saying no. Saying no. It's like अगर हम कुछ चीज़ करने जाते हैं, कुछ देखने जाते हैं, तो what our parents used to say us, or that you are not allowed to do all such kind of things, or you are not allowed to hear such kind of music. So same thing was happening with the child here. Is that clear? Now let's move ahead. He walks away and comes to a merry go round. Now what happened? Eventually he just moved away from his parents. He came to a merry go round means एक तरह का एक झूला होता है जो इस तरह से होता है, वो उस व्हील के पास आ चुका था और अब उसके मन में एक डिज़ायर थी कि वो जो ये व्हील वाला जो ये झूला है उसको झूले. And what he was doing? He was watching. He was watching the men, women, and children riding the merry-go round with gleeful abandon. Gleeful abundance means with happiness. Now his last desire was that he wants to write this. So what he did, he asked his parents. Now we will be covering the third part of this chapter. So let's start. Let's go ahead. We will be coming to know how the child was lost. Intentionally moved away from his parents. He saw a merry-go-round means एक wheel वाला झूला उसने देखा and he just put it his desire. What happened? He also decided to ask the parents. He did ask his parents. When he asked his parents, he saw that no one was giving him a reply. He looked here and there, and then he came to know that he is lost in this fair. Hearing no response to his wish, he swings around to see that they aren't there. Means his parents are not around him. Realizing his parents aren't around him, the child starts crying. Means when he came to know that his parents are not around him, what he did? He started crying. Eventually, when we were also child, we must have gone to some fair and we also have lost somewhere in the fair. What we usually do, we started crying. So this boy also did the same thing. He started crying. His turban comes undone and clothes are muddied as he runs around frantically. When he came to know that his parents are not around him, what he did? He started running here and there. His clothes were totally dirty and he was running here and there in a fear, in a search of his parents. Is that clear? Now we will be covering the next part of the chapter, means the last part of the chapter. Overwhelmed with grief, means overwhelming sadness. Seeing the boy cry, a man picks him up and tries to comfort him. Man takes him to the merry-go-round and asks whether he wants a ride. Crying, the child helplessly insists that he wants his parents. Man takes him to the snake charmer the balloons seller and hawker with the garland. He shows the sights to the child in an effort to distract and comfort him. He even takes the boy to the sweetmeat seller and asks whether he would some sweets. The boy keeps crying and repeatedly asking for his parents. He doesn't yearn for these things anymore. Like when the child was lost in the fair, he started crying. A person picked him up. He tried to comfort him and distract from all the worries, but the child was constantly crying for his parents, and all his desire went away. The desire to have sweets, the desire to look for a snake charmer, the desire to play with the balloons, and desire to have a ride on the merry-go-round. Everything vanished from his mind when he came to know that his parents are not around him, and he fearfully started searching for him, and he was repeatedly crying. This was all about the chapter. This was the gist of the chapter.